Hi, this is Dr. Jeffrey Johnson, and welcome to part 3 of our Acts of Fatherhood series. Today, we're going to share with you the third act of responsible fatherhood. But first, let me just share with you again, as I have in the previous 2 segments, the basic framework for our Acts of Fatherhood series, which is the concept that responsible fatherhood can be seen and heard. It can be seen with the naked eye. It can be heard with our ears. The third act of responsible fatherhood is the act of being the first teacher to our children, which is so extremely important. Oftentimes in the past, parents have relied primarily on our school system to serve as first teachers. This could not be the furthest from the truth. In fact, in order to ensure the academic success of our children, it is extremely important that our parents assume the role of being the first teacher of our children. It makes no difference whether or not you have a college degree or whether or not you finish high school or not. It's more important that you spend the type of time necessary reading, controlling the amount of TV viewing that our children have, and being in general control over their learning process, which begins really during infancy. Let me share with you the results of a study that looked at this whole issue of parents as first teacher. And I just want to quote a few things that might be of great help to you. What a family does to encourage learning is the most important to student success than family income or education. This is true whether parents have finished high school or not, or whether the child is in preschool or in the upper grades. Let me share a little bit more. Parents can exercise their authority best in 3 educational areas. First, absenteeism. Number 2, the variety of reading materials in the home. And 3, excessive television watching. The report goes on to say these 3 areas are responsible for nearly, get this, 90% of the difference in 8th grade mathematics test scores as determined by the National Assessment for Educational Progress. That's pretty big. It basically means that if we encourage our children to go to school, if we read to our children, and if we monitor their TV viewing, that's going to have a direct impact over how well they do on a mathematics test in the 8th grade. One final summation of this report I want to share with you. And it indicates that reading is even more dependent on learning activities in the home than math or science, according to the College Board. The single most important activity for eventual success in reading is reading aloud to our children. Nonetheless, only half of parents with children under the age of 9 say they actually read to their children aloud every day. Parents, we have to step up to the plate. We have to get our priorities right. We have to make sure that if our children are going to learn and be the best they can be, it starts in the home. And there are a lot of excuses. Listen, I've been a parent for nearly 30 years, and I've had my own share. And what are some of those excuses that parents always bring up? I'm too busy. Parents also indicate that it's too late to do it in the evening, or they say that, or they have a general lack of confidence because they didn't do well in school, and as a consequence, they don't think that they could be a good teacher to their kids. Let me tell you something. All those excuses will not suffice in terms of what we can do and what we should be doing in the life of our children. If we want them to reach their highest human potential, it starts in the home. And as parents, what we have to do is set our priorities. You know, I know that some of us have jobs that start early in the morning. And what it means is that we get up early or we go to bed a little bit later, but we make sure that as part of our daily routine that we make working with our children, preparing them for academic success in schools is extremely important. It's going to take priority over other things that might be happening during that day. Another good thing that we can do, we can start having sharing a daily meal with our children. We can have breakfast with them if it's possible. If not breakfast, maybe lunch. But more importantly, if we can have a meal over dinner, which is kind of the traditional American staple with families, or it used to be. We have to get back to some of those things. Fathers, mothers, working together to supervise the learning process for our children before they go to school is the best insurance for success in any school or academic setting. I'm counting on you to be the best parents possible when it comes to being the first teacher. That's our role. I hope this makes sense to you. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for next week for Act 4 in our Acts of Fatherhood series. Have a wonderful day.